Hello, good evening. Hope you can hear me. It is raining heavily here. So, namaste. So let us start. Okay. So, so these sessions happen every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Okay. Namaste, Arvind. Namaste, Vallishri. Namaste. Hope you're able to hear me because it's raining heavily here. So there might be a little bit of disturbance. Okay. So today's winter regimen in Ayurveda. You know that slowly winter is setting in. Certain parts of India has started becoming um, pretty cold, not very cold, but still winter is slowly setting in. Okay, so you know, uh, winter regimen is basically classified as a Ritucharya. Okay, Ritu means a season, and what you have to follow during a season is basically Ritucharya, and what you follow on a daily basis is called Dinacharya. Hope that is clear. Okay, so what you have to follow daily, you have to follow. So when a season changes, there are certain things which you have to change. By and large, lot of things don't change. Okay, it's not certain things you do, but certain things you don't completely do. It's not that. It is like you follow your daily routine, but certain things you make a change depending upon the season, depending upon your prakriti and whatever happens. That's all is important for you to know. Okay, so I have basically taken all these things from Ashtanga Hridaya and try to explain it very simple. There aren't too many things which you have to do, but certain things you have to bear in mind when the season slowly comes in. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so the winter season, the Hemanta and Shishira. Shishira is basically the coldest part, and Hemanta is the season which is before that, where it is slowly starts becoming cold. Okay, for so Hemanta and Shishira, the cold seasons, the same Ritucharya has been mentioned in Ashtanga Hridaya. Okay, so when it is basically Hemanta and Shishira, you will see that the Pitta or the heat of the whole system, body and the atmosphere also slightly goes down. It actually goes, Pitta Shamana happens. It goes down, and because of the cold season, the phlegm or the kapha, I don't want to use the word phlegm, the kapha slowly starts accumulating. Okay, strength of the person slowly starts coming back. This is basically a Visarga Sisa, okay, Dakshinayana, where the sun is basically towards the south and you start getting a lot of energy. So regimens basically are for strong people, what they're supposed to do, when it is cold outside, when the external part of the body is cold, the heat is trapped inside the body. Okay, because outside is cold. When it happens, so you notice that the agni or the metabolism is much higher. The person feels extremely hungry. Okay, digestion is very good. So one major thing which you have to do is fasting is not something, or avoiding food is not something which is very favorable in the cold season. Okay, so if you are aspiring to lose weight, yes, you can actually lose weight by doing exercises. Okay, but not by cutting down on the amount of food you eat, especially in this season. You see a lot of people who say, cut down on food. Winters are not, or cold season are not the days where you should cut down on a lot of food. Okay, then what food you have to have? Predominantly sweet, sour, and salty foods are the ones which you have to consume in this season. So Realize it is not artificially sweetened. That's not what I mean, Rice is sweet, dal is sweet, ghee is sweet, milk is sweet. All those things which are naturally sweet. Fruits, whichever seasonally fruits you get, yes, sour fruits you get amla in this season. Okay. So a lot of things, sour fruit, oranges have started coming. Those things are actually good in this season, especially for people who are weak. Okay, strong people can digest anything, but for weak people to promote strength, Madura, Amla, and Levana foods are advised in the colder seasons. Okay, so what all regimens you have to follow? Getting up early, as usual, for a healthy person, it is always good to get up at Brahma Muhurta. If a person there's a huge misconception that people who get up in Brahma Muhurta will start becoming healthy. That is not true. Ashtanga Hridaya says, Brahme Muhurte Uttishtet Swastha. A person who is Swastha or healthy person has to get up in Brahma Muhurta. It's not the other way around. If you get up in Brahma Muhurta, you will not become healthy. First become healthy and then try getting up at Brahma Muhurta. Okay. So get up early, at least by sunrise. Okay. Then attend to your nature calls. I am giving it in order what Ashtanga Hridaya says. Okay. Then Abhyanga with oil, which will actually, because when it is cold, the body starts getting very dry, and your vata also can slowly go up. So apply oil like Bala Taila, etc. on your body. Okay. Massage can be done really well because you have got that strength in your body. There are people who do massage with the feet also. That is also possible if you are strong enough. Okay. And exercise is something you can do. Since you have got more strength in this season, your exercise regime also can be slightly more than what you do in other seasons. In summer, exercise is not to be done at all. Okay. But in winters, you can do your exercise a little bit more. Bathing, yes, it has to be noted that bathing should be done only in warm water or hot water. Never take a shower in cold water in winter. You might say, any season, iron body, I take bath only in cold water. When you are young and all those things, yes, a lot of things can work. But I would say once the season changes, it's always good to shift to warm water. Okay. Then apply scented paste. Example, kumkuma. The reason why we say kumkuma is something which is saffron. Saffron is not cold. Okay, saffron is something which generates heat. That's the reason why people who live in Kashmir and all those people, they add kumkuma to milk and drink so that they can keep their body warm. Okay. Then dhupa, you can smoke the place with agaru. Agaru is agar agar. Okay, you can check online. That is the one that is actually being used. You burn it. It gives a lot of scent. From there, the name agar batti came. Batti is a Sanskrit. Batti is the distortion of the Sanskrit word varti, which means a wick. Okay, so mumbatti means that which is made of wax. So agar batti is actually burning of the agar wood. That used to be the tradition. So it's actually good in this season. Okay, and then what? Snigdha bhojana, having food which is basically slightly on the oily side. Okay, you can add ghee or you can add coconut oil or whichever oil you prefer. Even sesame oil, yes, you can apply, and then you can add into food and have. Okay. Next, what? Different kinds of food which are made of wheat. Wheat is sweet, rice is sweet. Okay. Black gram, it actually give you a lot of strength. All these things you can have. Sugar cane juice, you can have milk, you can have all these things you can have during winter season. Okay. Gandusha is oil pulling you can do with sesame oil. Drink only warm water, don't drink cold water. The weather is cold outside, you've got a chance of your throat going for a toss or cough and cold. So always good to drink warm to slightly hot water. Cover the body well. Okay, don't go out. It could be the daytime or at night time. Okay, cover the body. Even when you're sleeping, see that you cover yourself with a proper blanket. The textbook says, silk actually generates, it keeps you very cozy, and it keeps your body warm. So you can actually wear silk dresses in the colder seasons. Okay. Whenever there is sun, you can get exposed to that sun, or you can also do steaming. It is good in this season. And it has been told that you have to always wear footwear. You can't expose your leg to extremely cold, because the leg is, extremities, hands and legs are vata sthana, and the moment it gets exposed to cold, pain and all those things start increasing. Especially heel pain is very common during the season. If you start wearing socks and you start wearing chappal even before this winter is actually very cold, you can get a lot of benefit and survive without getting the heel pain. Okay. And since the weather it's actually cold, you can have intimate relationship with your partner. Okay. So you can start asking questions. Yes, I see the questions have already started coming in. Let me start answering one by one. Okay. So Akshata. I see Akshata Shata Dhauta Ghrita. You can, if you want, on your lips, if you feel that your lips are chapping. But by and large, if you apply on the body, I would say, Shata Dhauta Ghrita means 100 times washed ghee. So when the ghee is 100 times washed, it is basically extremely cooling. So applying that on during winter might not be a very good option. Khajita Pinda Tailam. Okay, there's something called Khajita Pinda Tailam. Again, washed Pinda Tailam. Okay, which is very thick. That can actually be applied on the body also. But if you feel extremely dry your lips, you can apply Shatadauda, or you can apply normal ghee also. You should understand that Shatadauda Gridam is cooling, and it might not be suitable for winters. Okay. So let me go to this sesame oil. Yeah, for application on the body, yes, whether you can apply sesame oil. Sesame oil actually is hot in potency, not very hot, not as hot as mustard oil. You can also apply mustard oil during winters. Applying sesame oil and waiting for about an hour or so and taking a shower in warm water is very, very beneficial in this season. Okay. Preeti, yeah, what is Bala Taila? Bala is actually a herb. It is called Sida cordifolia. Okay, it is a herb. Which the roots of the herb are basically used to and you see the oil is actually made with this root added into it. So you medicate the sesame oil with Bala. Bala Mula, it is called the root of Bala. That is basically Bala Taila, and by and large everybody can use Bala Taila. Okay, it is a very, very common thing which is used to control Vata and remove dryness. You can use Dhanvantram Tailam also, you can use Kshira Bala Tailam also. Okay, lot of options are there. What is the dosha that is predominant during menstruation? Okay, Valisha, this is a good question. Okay, if you look at menstruation, what has been told? Masi Masi Rajas Trinam. Masi means every month. Rajahas Trinam. Rajas, that means what? The heat, or the blood is basically heat. Okay, so Rajas is predominant during the menstrual period. Okay, and Rajas is basically more of fire, more of Pitta. Even if you are a Vata Prakriti or a Kapha Prakriti or a Pitta Prakriti, during the menstrual time, you are more of Pitta. Okay, it is Rajas. No, Vallashri, the flow of the menstrual blood, any movement, the flow is because of Vata. But that period is basically the Kapha period, but the flow is because of Vata. That's the reason why we say, if you indulge in too much of over exertion during a menstrual period, your flow might get, you've got a chance of getting an extra flow. That is because the vata is getting affected. Or if you basically cool your body too much, taking a wash and all those things might be okay with in slightly warm water. But if you go for a detailed bath in a swimming pool or in a river and you cool your body really too much, then probably again the menstrual flow might be slightly be affected, it might slow down a little bit. Those things can affect the vata, but otherwise during the menstrual period it is basically more of pitta. Okay, so you can give your questions, but I would say during the season one major thing which you have to note is you don't starve. Okay, it's been very clearly told in Ashtanga Hridaya that if you cut down, for a healthy person I'm telling you, if you cut down on the food you take, the Agni which is very high during this period will actually start burning the tissues. That means self-destruction happens. The metabolism is so high that if you don't give it fuel, the fuel is food, right? If you don't give it fuel, what will happen? It will start burning whatever is around it. So see that don't do too many things to lose weight in this season. Okay. Yes, by exercise you can probably minimize the amount of food you eat, but don't starve or cut down drastically the amount of food you eat. How come during winters our Agni goes up? Okay, but on a daily basis in afternoon time also his Agni is the highest. Okay, these are two different concepts here. Okay, when you look at the way the day has been divided, the first part is Kapha, the second part is Pitta, and the last part is Vata. When the sun is at the highest, okay, that actually contributes to the high Pitta in the body. And that Pitta is that, so that is the reason why Agni is very high during the afternoon. But in summers, note this point, but in summers when it's extremely hot, okay, you're so tired that you will not feel like eating anything. At that point of time, your Agni is not very good, Aravind. Okay, on a normal day, when the sun is high, your Agni is good. But on a very hot summer, you will not feel like eating. And now when in winter, when the exterior is actually very cold, to heat the body, the heat gets trapped inside the system. That is why you feel hungry during winters. Same thing happens when you in a swimming pool and you swim for about half an hour, 45 minutes, you come out of the swimming pool, your body is so cold, you are extremely hungry and you feel like eating an elephant, right? Same thing happens, the heat gets trapped inside. Hope it's clear. Okay. Valishri. Yes, body pain happens, cramps, normally you get cramps, and cramp is again the twitching or the movement of the muscles. Any movement, as I said, is because of Vata. Okay, but the menstrual time is basically dominated by Pitta. It is basically Rajas. Okay, as I said, Masi Rajas Trinam Rajasas Sravati Triham. Okay, Varsha Dwadasha Adurdhvam Yati Panchashata Kshayam. Varsha Dwadasha, it basically starts from the age of Dwadasha, from the age of 12. Yati Panchashata Kshayam. Yati means, okay, every month. Okay, Masi. And then what happens? And then it stops at the age of 50. Rajasas Sravati. Rajas actually flows for 3 days. So it is basically Rajas time, it is more of Pitta time. Yeah, flow, pain and all those things can be associated with Vata. But the period is basically more of Pitta or Rajas. Hope it's clear. Okay. So winter, young kids, we say, Kuttikin Muttikin Tanapilla, that's a saying in Malayalam, where small kids and a wooden, log doesn't feel the cold. It might be true, but otherwise, you cover a kid with a blanket, you'll see the kid kick it off, So, but it is always good as you grow old, It's always good to cover yourself better during the winters. Don't get yourself exposed to the cold. Okay, when you are young and all those things, you will feel, yeah, nothing is going to affect me. But if you get exposed to that cold for a longer period of time, there is always a chance of you catching, infections of the lungs, can be even, pneumonia and all those things. Don't ever take that risk. Don't fight against nature. The moment the weather slowly starts getting cooler, switch to hot water and switch to covering your body and lot of things. Okay. Shyam, yeah, that's a question. Avoid cold bath in the morning. Okay, cold bath in the morning. I've asked you to avoid during the winters or during the cold season. Shyam. Okay, Wim Hof ice bathing technique and all. I am, as far as the Ayurvedic principles go, I don't think it is. It actually agrees with the principles of Ayurveda. Okay, when the weather is cold, it is always good to go for something warm, and I don't think that it is this thing will suit everybody. Probably, if you're so used to doing that, then probably you might be able to go ahead and do it. But otherwise, I don't recommend anybody to do cold shower when it is very cold. You can't imagine, probably going to Munnar or going to Ooty, where the temperatures are close to about 3 degrees, 4 degrees, and taking a cold water shower. One day, probably, okay, fine, your body might be able to adjust. But if you start doing on a daily basis, in my opinion, your health you might not be able to sustain. Okay, same thing happens, when we get an injury. Modern physiotherapists say you have to add ice pack, but Ayurveda does not recommend ice pack at all. Okay, we say you still start pouring slightly warm oil on the area rather than going for an ice pack. Okay, so Shyam, according to Ayurvedic principles, I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, so when it is, see, it's always good, when it is cold, if you take that cold shower, that cold actually goes up. Okay, you can say, you are challenging nature, like according to Ayurveda, I can say very clearly, running a marathon. Okay, running 42 kilometers, you are trained for a marathon, you do that, yes, it's a sport, fine. But otherwise, the amount of injury that can cause to your knees and your body and all those things is tremendous. Okay. Anything where you are over exerting yourself beyond your capacity. They say push doesn't happen according to our principles. They say sarva dharmeshu madhyamam. Use probably try hitting the middle path and do things. Okay. Shyam, hope I have answered your question. Okay, so and winter is actually a very beautiful season. The moment it starts getting cooler, you will see that nature actually, it's called Visarga Kala. Nature actually provides energy to you. You start getting vegetables fresh, water is good, everything is so pleasant out there. You start receiving energy. So it is always a give and take. During the Adana Kala or the season, 6 months is Adana Kala, 6 months is Visarga Kala. Adana Kala is a time where the body, the sun actually moves towards the north and starts taking energy from the earth. All water bodies go dry, all fruits are dry, everything is dry, leaves, everything is dry. The human body also, it sucks energy from that. You will not feel hungry to eat anything. You only feel like drinking water. It is the nature's automatic way of actually, detoxifying the body. You will start losing a little bit of weight during the summer season because you won't feel like eating. You'll be drinking a lot of water. But the moment it comes to Visarga Kala or Dakshinayana, nature will start giving. You'll start seeing grass coming, water coming, fresh vegetables coming. Okay, but that's not the time where you should overeat again. So you have got this Waxing and waxing and waning happening even in nature. The moment you start following that, you'll become much healthier. Yes, Aravind. Okay. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Yes. So Ayurveda doesn't recommend any. See, what happens here is any injury happens. It's basically vata and pitta there. Okay, it depends upon the injury. If it is a sprain, you'll start feeling that heat over there. It is because of that sudden inflammation that happened. And when that inflammation is there, it is not advisable to suddenly cool it. Okay, we say give lukewarm oil, pour lukewarm oil over there. Don't rub it too much. So what happens with that lukewarm oil? When you give too much of heat, don't give too much of heat. When you give too much of heat, that pitta goes up really, really high. But when you pour that warm oil over there, the vata is kept under control and the pitta also doesn't go up too much. Okay, that is the way we manage injuries, sprains, and all those things. And thank you, Arvind. This is actually information for me. Okay, thanks for that share. But Ayurveda does not believe in applying a cold ice pack into a fresh injury. Okay, so any other questions? Need not be regarding winter, it can be about other things also, no problem. Hope I'll be able to answer your questions. Okay, so you note that during the winters, the nights are longer and the moon dominates, so the nights are longer and the days are shorter. So the amount of sunlight you can get is also less, but whenever you see sun, go out and get exposed to the sun. So Ayurveda always says, whenever you see the sun, get exposed to sun. Okay, now that is the problem. Most of us are always indoors and we very, very, very rarely go and see the sun. The moment you see a sun, you apply suntan lotion or you wear dark glasses and all those things. See, if you are getting exposed to an extreme sun, I do agree you can do all those things, but otherwise it's always good for you to get exposed to the sun. As I said, get some air, get some wind, get some water, go natural, go into the nature and enjoy. Okay. I learned my cholesterol figures going adverse, but then how can I eat winter reserve things like methi laddu or dry fruit, because we have only 3 months to eat those which body actually do. Okay, if you notice that your cholesterol did not go up overnight, okay, and we expect things to happen pretty fast, in the sense you have to be consistent with your lifestyle. Dinacharya is something which you have to follow. Exercise, even they say summers don't do exercises. Kids and elders need not do exercises. So these are things, but I don't know when Acharya wrote this book 5,000 years back, he ever in his wildest dream thought that a kid would not jump around, and not be always, kid is somebody who never sits in a place, runs around, jumps up, falls down, runs around, always physically active. But I don't think the Acharya ever thought that the kid would actually sit on a mobile phone or sit watching a TV and be extremely sedentary. So I would say, those things don't hold good even now. It don't hold good now. Kids also have to get exercise. Elderly people, not too much. They can go for a walk and all things. Likewise, every day you have to do exercise. Use only half your strength. The reason why your cholesterol went up might be the wrong kinds of food you are eating and the amount of exercise you are doing. Okay, so methi laddu or dry fruit, yes, you can have. Reduce it this season, but see that this is a season where you can eat well and you can also exercise more. So start focusing on exercise more. and it also depends upon how high your cholesterol is. Okay, don't be too paranoid about it. Okay, lead a normal life, be moderate about things. Okay. Yes, Aravind, sun feels so good and comforting even in winter. Yes, but sometimes it so happens that if you are in a high altitude like Munnar or Uti or Kodaikanal, somewhere, any high altitude place, okay, what happens is the air is so thin over there and the sun hits really hard. You might feel it's winter, it is cool, but the sun is pretty harsh over there in the high altitudes. So be slightly careful. I would say, given a chance, avoid midday sun. Okay, they say UV is much better. Your vitamin D production is higher when the summer during the midday. But I would say consistently get exposed to the morning or the evening sun and slowly start getting your vitamin D. There is no hurry in life that you have to get a vitamin D in 5 days by getting exposed to the midday sun. Okay. How to not be lazy during cozy winters? Cozy winters are always lazy, Valishri. That is the problem, you feel like eating really well, you feel like covering yourself up and sleeping. Okay. If you have got some purpose in life, then probably you'll kick yourself up and do something. Otherwise, being lazy is okay. That's one time, where nature is so harsh during the summers that you'll not be able to eat well. Your sleep is also disturbed. Nowadays, what people are always in air condition. That's actually not good. You are not getting exposed to the changing seasons. Okay. So summers your sleep is not that good. So you compensate that by probably sleeping slightly better during the winters. Don't feel extremely guilty about being slightly lazy during the winters. Enjoy the moment. Okay, Valishri. People usually fall sick with cold, cough, flu. Some home remedies and easily available Ayurvedic medicines to treat common issues. Yeah, Divya. Okay. Yes, it is normal. It normally happens when you get really exposed to that kind of cold weather, or yeah, your son or your husband or somebody gets exposed to that, and he brings it to your home. You can also catch that cold or cough. Okay, so best thing for you to do is to do steam inhalation on a regular basis. It can be normal water. You can add a little bit of Vicks or something, and you can take that steam inhalation. It is very important that you brush your teeth before you go to bed, because all the bacteria which can cause issues are there in the saliva when you're sleeping. If you have got food dislodged, food lodged in your throat or somewhere, you can catch an infection. And throat is very important because this is the juncture between the trunk and the upper body. Infection from here can go down, it can go up, it can go to ear, it can go so it is very important that you clean your teeth before you go to bed. Common things here, you can drink water which has been processed with dry ginger. Okay, half teaspoon to 1 liter ratio. And then common medicine probably might be Talisadi churnam. You can mix with honey and have. Otherwise, see that you don't eat too much of food which will increase a lot of phlegm. Like curd and all is not very good to have during the winters. And not too much of what I call gooey fruits. Like banana might not be very good, but otherwise, you can manage it. Okay. Yeah, Hem Vaidya. Okay, just follow this. Okay. Came across that most heart attacks happen in winter season. What could be the reason for that? An Ayurveda perspective. Okay. See, if you look at the heart is basically something which keeps on pumping. Okay. So pumping is, see, when I talk from an Ayurvedic perspective, pumping is something movement which is happening, which is because of what? Vyana Vayu. It is not prana, it is Vyana. Okay. Vyana Vayu is the one which is responsible for all the movement. Vyano Hridisthitha. It is in the Hridaya. Okay, and it moves to the whole body. That means it is basic one which takes care of the circulation. And vata has got the innate property of being cool. So whenever it is cold, that means the vata actually goes up. Okay, and if you notice, cold is also for kapha. So a person who is obese or who has got too much of kapha in the body, when it is cold, it actually solidifies more than when in the summer, because in the summer, because of the heat, that extra kapha actually melts in Grishma Ritu. Okay, so that is one reason why people get a lot of issues related to the chest, ura we call it, to the chest during cold season. The question which Divya asked, cold, cough. So that is one other reason why probably people get a lot of heart attacks during the winter season. Okay, and when it is extremely cold and when you get exposed to that cold, like when you actually walk in cold water for some time, your calf muscles and all those things actually cramp up, right? Likewise, if you get too much exposed to cold, heart is also a muscle. It can cramp up and can cause a heart attack. Okay. Um, any sunscreen in Ayurveda for harsh summers? The first question that was asked about Shatatauta Ghritam. Shatatauta Ghritam Preeti is actually a very good thing for you to apply in harsh summers. But one more thing I would say, in hot, Ayurveda says very clearly not to get exposed to not to get exposed to excessive heat. As much as possible, avoid the sun between 11 and 4. Okay, it is not good for your body. Why? I didn't get that. Okay, especially to be moderate, even the era of being extreme. Yes. Okay, yeah, it's always good to be moderate. You can't build anything overnight, and you don't lose anything also overnight. Okay, as I said, if somebody's got a heart attack, it normally doesn't happen overnight. The heart attack happened that moment, but it was already in the coming. It's all cumulative. Good health or bad health, everything is cumulative. You go out and drink a full bottle of alcohol today, tomorrow you need not get a liver cirrhosis. But you keep on doing that over a period of time, you might get it. Okay, so it's all cumulative. Okay. One thing I missed. Okay, we need to keep in mind to prevent heart attacks. So I would say, one major reason. Aravind, just listen to this carefully. The 4th chapter of Ashtanga Hridayam. Okay, where we says Rogan Utpadaniyam, where Rogan Utpadaniyam, how disease occur. Utpada means how they are created. Rogan Utpadaniyam Adhyayam, how they come up. The first shloka starts Veganna Dharayet. Never control your natural urges. There are 14 urges mentioned. Okay, Veganna Dharayet, Vada Vinmutra Kshavatra Kshudam Nidra Gasa Shramashvasa Jrimba Ashru Chardire. 14 natural urges like what? Passing gas, burping, coughing, sneezing. When you get emotional, feel like crying, don't control your tears. Okay, so the 14 things that have been mentioned. Out of that, 10 like hunger, hunger, thirst. You want to pass motions, you want to pass urine. 14 have been mentioned. Out of 14, 10 of them, when you don't follow that, if you want to pass gas, you don't pass gas. If you want to pass urine, you don't pass urine. If you want to go to the loo, you don't poop. Out of 14, 10 of them, if you stop them, it is bad for the heart. So that is the first lesson. Listen to your urges. Your body, you want to pass gas. Okay. See, now it is a taboo. It is not. It's a shame that you do in public. Your health, or this. You have to weigh the consequences. That's one thing which you have to always keep in mind. And the other thing is that three things: sleep, food, and exercise. All these three in moderation will actually prevent a lot of things, including heart attack. Okay. Now let us get to this Vallishri. Yeah. I've heard of the Nadi Tarangani device. My thought, yes, see, they have tried to develop it really well. You know, when you look at the fingers, you know, you have got three fingers, and you actually check the Nadi of the person. It's not this way; it's basically this way. Okay, the what do you call, the pointy towards the wrist. So the every finger is divided into 5 portions. Okay, that is Vata for this, Vata, 5 Vatas, 5 Pittas, and 5 Kapas. So likewise, when you put that Nadi Tarangani device, it has been divided into 5 places, and where you feel the maximum impulse is what actually decides which Vata is actually gone off track. Okay. So the Nadi Tarangani device is actually able to capture that. But now, you know, any instrument can capture anything. But how you are going to interpret that is again very important, Valishri. Okay. And in my opinion, yes, checking the Nadi is important. I don't say no. But don't give extreme importance to the Nadi also, because Ashtasthana Pariksha has been called 8 places where you Nadi, Mutram, Malam, Jihva, Drik, Shabda, Sparsha, Akriti. Okay, I don't want to go into details. You have to look into these 8 places of Rogi before you actually make a diagnosis. So Nadi is only one among the 8. Okay, so only 1 by 8 importance has to be given to the Nadi. Okay, you also have to Nadi, Mutram, you have to look in the urine, Malam, you have to look in the fecal matter. Okay, you have to look at the tongue. Lot of things you have to look into. So I don't want to be over enthusiastic about the Nadi. Yes, Nadi is important. Other things are also important. Okay, Darshana, Sparshana, Prashna. You look. Okay, look. Darshana is basically your eyes, your ears, not licking a patient. Okay. Apart from that, all senses you can use. Darshana, then Sparshana, touch. You touch and see whether, you know, when it moves, when you can feel the heat, or you feel the pain, or all those things. Prashnehi, questions, intro, you keep on asking questions. You have got different ways in diagnosing a problem, you know. So just because somebody catches the Nadi and diagnoses something doesn't make him superior, or somebody who doesn't catch the Nadi and still diagnoses doesn't make him inferior also. It is just 1 by 8. Okay, Valishri, hope I'm clear about it. Okay, so any other questions? So I suppose this year winter is not as cold as it used to be last year. That's what I hear from different people from different parts. Especially, you know, last week, friends, we were to Goa. Goa was so damn hot, you know. And other parts of the world also, India is also not very cold. Evenings are cool, but I think the afternoons are extremely hot. Right? So if there aren't any questions, can we close today's session? So we can meet next week with some other topic. Okay? So thanks a lot. Good night.